बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। अस्सलाम वालेकुम। सबसे पहले चांसलर की जानिब से, बोर्ड ऑफ ट्रस्टीज़ की जानिब से, यूनिवर्सिटी लीडरशिप की जानिब से, जीनत और मेरी जानिब से आप सबको और आपकी फैमिलीज़ को ये आज़ादी का दिन बहुत बहुत मुबारक हो। पाकिस्तान जिंदाबाद। We know that Pakistan was born amid many challenges. ये पाक सरजमीन बहुत जिद्दोजहद, बहुत तवील जिद्दोजहद का नतीजा है। If we go back 8 decades, 9 decades, we know that the Muslims of the subcontinent had two major obstacles. The first was minority rule. The first was that they were in minority. And the second was that they were under British rule. Two monumental obstacles to the dream of independence and self-determination that they had nurtured in their hearts for so long. But they could not be deterred. They could not imagine shrinking from the fight or failing to give their children a country that they could call their own. आज हम उनकी extraordinary victory को, उनके ट्रायम्फ को खिराज तहसीम पेश करते हैं। पाकिस्तान का वजूद एक मिसाल है। It is an example to the world. It is a rejoinder to all doubters and an inspiration to all those who dream to achieve the impossible, as did our great leader, Qaid-e-Azam. A well-known historian wrote, "Few individuals significantly alter the course of history. Fewer still modify the map of the world. Hardly anyone can be credited with creating a nation state. Muhammad Ali Jinnah did all three." Ultimately, however, nothing as vast as a nation can be considered the work of a single person. And so alongside the many distinguished leaders of the Pakistan movement that we know, we honor today the millions and millions who fought, sacrificed, nurtured, and educated to forge for Pakistan an unassailable place amongst the nations of the world. The inheritance that they have left us is rich indeed. Mushkilat did not stop after independence. Far from it. पाकिस्तान की हिस्ट्री में अगर आप देखें तो 75 साल की हिस्ट्री में बहुत सारे मसले मसाइल आए हैं, चाहे वो पॉलिटिकल हो, वो नेचुरल हो, इकोनॉमिक हो, आर्म कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स हो. It has endured mischaracterization and misunderstanding of outsiders, whose predictions it has repeatedly defied. आज हम फिर एक मुश्किल दौर से गुजर रहे हैं. ये साल we have seen heat waves, we have seen floods, we have seen inflation, we have seen decline in the power of the rupee, political conflict, and all against the drop of the pandemic. बहुत मुश्किल रास्ता है. But yet the heat wave has not melted our resolve, and the waters have not overwhelmed us. We are the most dauntless of nations, and AKU is the most dauntless of universities. Perhaps that has something to do with the fact that its lineage can be traced back to the Pakistan movement. Our Chancellor, His Highness the Aga Khan, is the fourth Aga Khan. His immediate predecessor was Sir Sultan Muhammad Shah, otherwise known as the Aga Khan III. Aga Khan III was the first president of the All India Muslim League, who stood side by side with Qaid-e-Azam to lead the creation of Pakistan. It was Aga Khan III who led the famous Simla deputation of 1906, which secured greater representation for India's Muslims from the British, a major step on the road to Pakistan's founding. In addition to that, आप जानते हैं, Aga Khan III's contribution in the creation of Aligarh University. Aligarh University, for those of you who may not know this, was called the cradle of the Pakistan movement. When it came for the Aga Khan III to choose a successor, he selected his grandson, our Chancellor. Along with his title, he also passed on to him the conviction that the pursuit of knowledge and the pursuit of freedom are linked, are closely linked, and that universities can forge new leaders and new possibilities, a tradition of working for the betterment for the people of Pakistan. It is therefore no wonder that our Chancellor poured his heart and soul, दिन रात उन्होंने मेहनत की है, to establish the Aga Khan University. And he chose to place the university in the city of his grandfather's birth and the country that he helped create. AKU की history और पाकिस्तान की history जुड़ी हुई है. It is combined, it is interlinked. AKU की contribution to Pakistan is well known. It is the country's first private university. It has been a pioneer and a standard setter in healthcare and the training of professionals, health professionals and education leaders. In times of crisis, and we know this, aap jante hain, in the time of COVID, that policymakers turned to AKU to provide advice and to show them the policy and the protocols. Its research has earned it an honored place amongst the universities of the world, and its graduates are showing every day to the world what Pakistan is capable of. AKU का काम पाकिस्तान का काम है. It contributes to the realization of Pakistan's founders, who in Muhammad Iqbal's word sought to give Muslim India an opportunity to mobilize its law, its education, its culture, and to bring them into closer contact with its original spirit and with the spirit of modern times. That phrase, the spirit of modern times, is an important one. It reminds us that the present era is not only a time of problems, it is also a time of unprecedented problem solving. New ideas, new methods of inquiry, organization and collaboration, all these exist in unprecedented abundance and can be accessed with unprecedented ease. Iqbal, Jinnah, and their contemporaries did not have the resources that we have today, and yet look at what they achieved: a nation, a country. Imagine if Pakistan's founding fathers suddenly reappeared in our midst and beheld our new powers. Their optimism and enthusiasm would know no bounds. They would see our enhanced abilities for what they are: evidence of humanity's extraordinary capacity to create, to innovate, and to adapt to new circumstances. They might be moved to remark, God does not set us challenges that we cannot meet. But they would surely also remind us what it takes to make one's mark on history and to leave a legacy. The words with which Iqbal closed his famous Allahabad address to the All India Muslim League retain their force today. Iqbal urged his audience, rise above sectional interests and private ambitions and learn to determine the value of your individual and collective action in the light of the ideal which you are supposed to represent. So long as we heed these words, and so long as we are inspired by those who make them their motto, we will continue to succeed against all odds. Today we have many youth here, and yesterday I was reading some of Iqbal's poetry, and I came across this beautiful poetry that he wrote for the youth of Pakistan. So I will recite just a few verses of it. मंजिल से आगे बढ़कर मंजिल तलाश कर, मंजिल से आगे बढ़कर मंजिल तलाश कर, मिल जाए तुझे दरिया तो समंदर तलाश कर. हर शीशा टूट जाता है पत्थर की चोट से, हर शीशा टूट जाता है पत्थर की चोट से, पत्थर ही टूट जाए वो शीशा तलाश कर. सजदों से तेरे क्या हुआ सदियां गुजर गई, सजदों से तेरे क्या हुआ, सदियाँ गुजर गई, दुनिया तेरी बदल दे, वो सजदा तलाश कर. So I will stop there. I want to recognize our colleagues, our friends from Kyrgyzstan who are here with us today. Welcome, and we are so happy that you could be part of this wonderful 75th Independence Day celebration with us. So एक बार फिर आप सबको बहुत मुबारक हो. ये हमारा मुल्क है, इसकी कदर करें, इसकी परचम की इज़्ज़त करें. मसले मसाइल बहुत हैं, बहुत सारे लोग हैं जो सुबह से शाम तक सिर्फ बुराइयां करते हैं. लेकिन मैं आपको बताता हूँ कि ये मुल्क और दुनिया में रहने के बाद, दुनिया में घूमने के बाद, ये मुल्क आज भी लाखों मुल्कों से और लाखों सोसाइटी से बेटर है. तो इसकी कदर करें, इसकी इज़्ज़त करें. ये एक गिफ्ट है अल्लाह की तरफ से, और इसे समझें. पाकिस्तान पाइंदाबाद.